All right, twin-demic. Now, we stopped doing the numbers. I think we're in the 20s now, so we're just going to keep on going. But this topic is COVID-19 and influenza, twin-demic. Twin-demic. And now, up front, because both of these are going on at the same time because the flu epidemic is right before us right now. And the symptoms are very similar, all right? You have the respiratory problems, cough, and shortness of breath, body pain, etc., and fatigue. What you have in COVID-19, which we covered about a couple months ago, is that the flu don't have loss of taste, smell, diarrhea, and red toe.
Okay, now.
That you don't get with the influenza, so they're different with that. Yes.
Because this is a hot one.
Yes, it is.
Influenza, vaccine, no vaccine, what should I do? So let's look at, we really need to pay attention specifically about what we have to say as far as this goes.
Let's go with the disclaimer at this time, which we read all the time. This information in this presentation is not to present, not to diagnose, treat, or prescribe, but to educate only. We advise that you consult with your primary care physician before incorporating any complementary, integrative, and or alternative lifestyle medicine. Now, let me say this up front. We're not telling you not to get the flu vaccine or those who are going to get it. So this is not information as far as don't get it or do get it. This is just information on what the flu vaccine does to the body, the pros and cons. You decide for yourself what you need to do.
So the word is educate, educate, educate. Curse, we know that we're moving toward that flu season time frame. So exactly where are the months that we begin to see the flu epidemic coming on?
Okay, good question. Here we go. Here it is, folks. And like I said before, they suggest that those who choose to get the flu vaccine, to get it in the month of October, because it takes about 2 weeks for the body to kick in the antibodies. So you see right there, November starts to climb a little bit. December is when it really starts to climb.
Okay.
Influenza virus. And then, of course, you have January. And then sometimes it peaks in February. And then kind of goes down in March. Now, this is based on location. So remember, the influenza virus loves two things: dry weather, cold weather. Therefore, the wintertime, it thrives on that. So in the north, it's going to be longer than those who live in the south. But again, that's really an average as far as the peaks are concerned. It can vary from year to year, but that gives you an idea. That's why those who choose to get the flu vaccine need to really get it around this time, October, no later than November.
So we're in the season, and now this year is different. This is 220. This is COVID-19 is out there. It is doing its thing. So between COVID-19 and now the flu, the question is, this vaccine, do we need to go ahead on and get that thing?
Well, let's talk about the effectiveness. Now, this is a cartoon here, and it says right here, I have to read it here, how well am I doing this year? Now, this is a CDC guy with his jacket on. He has a blindfold on, the dartboard, trying to get a bullseye. Now, right now, all his darts are on the wall, haven't reached the bullseye. See, here's the thing. You can't wait until the flu gets here and then try to get a vaccine, because if you get a vaccine, by the time the vaccine is ready, the flu season is over. Therefore, they have to have an educated guess at what might be the strain for the next year. So it's more of a hit and miss. You see here on the graph, it's more of a miss than a hit. Last year, it was 45% effective, the flu vaccine. Year before that, it was 29% effective. 3 years ago, it was 36% effective. In year 2014, it was a whopping 19% effective of the flu vaccine. So therefore, it's more of a miss than a hit. And let me say this, too. Also, the ineffectiveness is also, and the CDC's website tells you this, the more you get the flu vaccine every single year, it also reduces the effectiveness of the vaccine.
Okay. So then what then is the
Not to
actual...
mention that it's also incubated in the egg yolk.
Okay. Okay.
So
All right,
those
okay.
have an allergic reaction to the
Okay.
egg.
Okay. You're excited.
Yeah.
You got a lot to say, but we got
A
a
lot
lot
to
to cover
say.
before they
Yeah.
say it's time
Okay.
up.
I think we go through the next slide.
Yeah. What is the medication of choice that we do then, other than vaccine, talk about Tamiflu?
So the number one drug prescribed is Tamiflu. All right, number one. So and it does help a lot. And flu vaccine helps a lot too.
Okay,
Reduce,
okay,
mortality. But you have with the Tamiflu, you have the side effects of hallucinations,
Hallucination.
body pain. Wait a minute.
Wait, hold.
If you already have the flu, and the side effects of Tamiflu is body pain, it's like, okay, catch 22. Vomiting and skin problems. Now, these are side effects of Tamiflu, the number one prescribed drug for the flu. Now,
Okay.
we mentioned about essential oils a few months ago.
Yes, we did.
So let's look at Tamiflu versus essential oils.
All right.
Here it is, straight from the medical journals. Quote, the antiviral results conclude that 11 essential oils possess, here it is, anti-influenza activity, and some of those essential oils at the same concentration as Tamiflu. In other words, essential oils and Tamiflu have the same results, but with the essential oils, you don't have the hallucinations, body pain, vomiting, and skin problems.
So what exactly then, if we're talking about anti-influenza, what type of oils are we talking about now?
All right, and we mentioned this a couple of months ago. We did 3 series on essential oils. Here it is, all right? Our study showed that, here it is, eucalyptus oil inhibited influenza virus replication completely when cells were infected, holding promise to prevent influenza virus transmission among children and adults.
Okay,
Eucalyptus oil. So we talked about Alan White mentioned that.
We talked about we talked about the eucalyptus. Is there another one when we talk about eucalyptus?
Okay, well, let's talk about, now remember, we talked about the vaccine's effectiveness is very low.
Right.
All right. It's less than 50% for the last 15 years. All right. And so here it is. This is how we can increase it for those who choose the flu vaccine. Here it is. Vaccines have low efficacy, and additional therapy is one of the attempts to improve influenza vaccine effectiveness for those who choose it. Now, here it is. Administration of, here it is, intranasal eucalyptus oil produces superior protection against influenza. In other words, nasal spray of eucalyptus in the nose. That's what it's talking about. Some vaccines, Hong Kong, other people have vaccines that's nasal spray. So when we add the nasal spray eucalyptus oil with the vaccine, it increases the effectiveness of the flu vaccine.
So then we can use a nasal spray even with the vaccine, whatever's going on.
That will enhance the effectiveness of the vaccine.
Here's another one.
There's one more.
About,
let's turn the page. Here it is. We talked about this too a couple months ago.
Yes.
Our study demonstrated that tea tree oil had antiviral activity against influenza A. Let me explain this quickly. There are 2 basic strains of influenza. Influenza A, influenza B. Influenza A is the most deadly one, has the highest mortality rate. Tea tree oil zeroes in on influenza A. That's the one that has the highest mortality.
Well, in closing, that was a lot.
Yes, it is.
And they can get that information as they look this over again, and those who are watching. But now, does the servant of God has anything to say about the word influenza?
Okay, this is interesting. Let's go ahead and turn the page at this time. And, one more time. Well, let's bypass that. Let's go to the next one. Yeah, there we go. Last one, all right. Selected Messages, Book 2, page 471, quote, I appeal to you mothers. Do you not feel heartsick seeing your children suffering with, this is the only time in all her writings she used the words influenza.
Okay.
Have you not provided them with a simple, nutritious diet and leaving their arms and limbs insufficiently protected?
Okay, so we want to end with this one here because we talked about this before.
Yes.
Plant-based diet, Fruits, vegetables, whole grains.
Talked about that.
That's the way we got to go. We talked about 80% of all of the foods that we eat are in the intestinal tract. So we got to eat good food,
keep
take care of the rest,
limbs warm.
take care of them cheering. And
children and cheering.
Cheering.
Yeah, both
John
of them.
10:10.
Jesus said, I come,
yes,
that they might have life
and have it more abundantly.